been 6 years since DMX had a solo album out. He's gone through a lot. He's been in and out of jail. They had a lot of album delays, and now his album's finally out. And since DMX has gone through a lot, I'm expecting a very fired up, red hot effort with Undisputed. So was it worth the wait? Undisputed was all about how DMX is still the same person despite all he's gone through. It featured a lot of familiar styles, familiar moods, and familiar rhythms, as it jumped around everything from emotional tracks straight up progressive tracks. Undisputed was mainly an attempt to get DMX's bike back in place. Undisputed had a lot of issues. The biggest one was that the album sounded so rusty and dated. I know this was meant to sound familiar, but I didn't expect a carbon copy of what DMX did before. Also, the production was so simplified, so rushed, that it really just sounded like noise. And DMX's voice didn't sound right at all. It cracked a lot, it faded a lot, it just didn't sound fueled enough. Undisputed sounded like a poor effort. Despite the album sounding like a disaster, it wasn't really as much of a mess as it built up to. While it did have some really disastrous points, it managed to balance itself with some better points. Every track sounded safe, so while they were bad, they really weren't that bad. Also, despite the poor vocals, DMX did sound like he had energy, which actually did a lot for this album because energy is at least a quarter of every track. So energy played a big role in making this album feel a bit better. Undisputed had a lot of problems, though it balanced itself out with a few positives. Overall, this was a mediocre effort. It showed that DMX still has it in him, though showing it isn't enough. I expected a lot more from DMX's return. I'd give Undisputed a 4 out of 10. It was barely mediocre. For a written review, check the description below.